So it's been nearly 9 months since my last video was released, and some of you are probably wondering where I've been, given that this channel has been quite radio silent for some time. I've posted a few times on Twitter and on Discord, but it's been sporadic, and I appreciate that not everybody follows me on Twitter. I'm currently working towards my next video titled 10 Tiny Things About Olimar. It's going to be a little video of 10 tiny tips and tricks for new Olimar players and veterans alike. So there should be something for everybody. Sometimes we get called to this funny little thing that we all seem to collectively call the real world. After my last video, I got such a call. Really, to make a long story short, this was my final year at uni, and I had to make sure that my honours project was the best work that it could be. It involved sacrificing a lot of personal hobbies and things that I do in my spare time. Unfortunately, this video editing business is not really my day job. I'd love it to be my day job, but it's not, and I had to give that up, as well as Smash and posting stuff on Twitter as well. But at the end of it, I'm glad to say that this sacrifice was well worth it, because I graduated from uni with the results I wanted. So I started work on my honours project in January, and as the year went on, it set in motion a few other commitments I had to make to the real world, such as finding a job and moving house. Combine all that with the fact that I told myself after the Art of Olimar Sternia that I was going to commit myself to learning DaVinci Resolve after 3 years of using Sony Vegas. So you can imagine giving up video editing, but then telling yourself when you've finished with uni, you're going to start learning an entirely new editing software. At first, it definitely felt like my work was cut out for me. It was quite a struggle to learn. I didn't have a lot of time to learn Resolve in my downtime. But over time, I kept working at it, and I suddenly had the idea that I could do my honours project presentation in Resolve, thereby taking what I had learned and applying it to a video project. Now, I'm not going to upload that publicly, but it was definitely a unique presentation, and I would say my supervisors were academically chuffed. The thing about Resolve is that there's just so much the studio version can do, and adding to that the fusion page is a real treat. I don't want to say it does everything, but it does everything. That said, there's nothing wrong with using Vegas, it's just I wouldn't use it over Resolve in a month of Sundays. Between you and me, it's mostly my editing workflow. I'll script something and I'll do the voiceover, but I've never really gotten around to storyboarding things. Most of the visual gags and effects that I put in my videos, most of that is just spontaneous, on the fly, just something, the things that I think of in the moment that I find funny. More recently though, I've spent a lot of my time in a hole. It's a nice hole. It's a hole made for me. But more importantly, it's a hole for 3D art. Modelling, compositing, lighting, all that sort of thing. As you can tell, I'm making a hat, and this hat's going to be used in the thumbnail for the 10 Tiny Things video. Now, it's not an award-winning, trending on ArtStation piece of work, but it did challenge me to think about how to make it, and that's really what matters. I've wanted to give 3D art a shot for years, and 10 Tiny Things as the year went on ended up becoming an excellent reason to add that extra dimension to my work. Although finding the right resources to learn professional techniques on my own, as someone with absolutely no background in art whatsoever, I would say that was a good challenge and critical thinking. Not least because my software of choice is Blender, but also because the professionals who have the time to pass on their knowledge, no matter what software they might use, they're very few and far between. Those that do have the time, though, have been very available and very willing to help, and I'm grateful for them. Now, I can't promise you a full-on, all-singing, all-dancing 3D extravaganza of tiny tips and tricks for Olimar, but what I do hope to show you is more a study in the craft of mixing my usual style of editing with 3D scenes. Above all, the switch to Resolve and using Blender is put an emphasis on making sure that 10 Tiny Things is well polished and well put together. It's not something that I can just slapdash. I really need to take my time on this. So in saying that, I'm going to get back to work and I'm going to do my best. I'm looking for a November upload, but really it's going to take as long as it takes, as it has been for the past 9 months. That's all from me. See you next time.